Hi everyone, and welcome to another Criminology video. If this is the first one of these that you're watching, then I hope you enjoy it and come back for more. If it isn't, then thank you for coming back. Hope you're enjoying the channel, and if there's anything you'd like me to cover that I'm not covering already, then do just please leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. So today I want to talk about this book, Throat Sprockets by Tim Lucas, which I think might be the best horror novel you've never heard of. Or at least the best horror novel if you like a kind of atmospheric, creepy, literate horror rather than slam bag style horror. This is a really, really good book, and I thoroughly recommend you try and pick up a copy. So let me tell you why. So it was published in 1994. Tim Lucas is a film critic and one of the editors at Video Watchdog magazine. And this is one of two novels that he's published. The other one, which I haven't read yet but need to try and get hold of, is about Renfield, the character from Dracula. So book came out in the 90s, but it was originally a comic strip in this comic from 1988, Taboo. So this has the first instalment of Throat Sprockets in it. And this was a comic that I read back then. I was a really big comic fan in my teens, so as a 15-year-old I read the first instalment of the comic of Throat Sprockets, and it really stuck with me. There's something that really gets under your skin about it, and it stayed with me ever since. And when I stumbled across a copy of the paperback, not even knowing that it had been turned into a novel, when I stumbled across it in a second-hand bookshop, I snapped it up straight away. And it's then, I have to say, sat on my TBR for quite a long time. And I kind of suspect I was a bit worried that it wasn't going to live up to my memory of how good the comic was. Should also say the comic was never completed. So I think that there were planned to be 3 instalments in it, and only 2 of them were ever published. One in the first issue of Taboo, which I've just shown you, and one in the 3rd issue. But the 3rd instalment never got done, and Lucas eventually obviously turned it into the novel. So what's it about? So it's about, the title and cover might give you a clue. So it's kind of a vampire novel, but not really. So it's about a guy who's never named, who's an advertising executive, who's kind of bored of life, has that kind of middle class malaise, and in his lunch breaks visits a porno theatre in his local town, and whilst there sees a film called Throat Sprockets, which is kind of a weird, slightly experimental feeling movie that doesn't have any sex in it but fetishizes women's throats. There's lots of weird stuff about the film beyond that. Obviously that's quite a weird fact as well. But for instance, it appears that there are chunks that are being cut out of the film and things like that. So the character gradually becomes obsessed with this film, and when the theatre closes down and he's not able to see it anymore, kind of begins hunting for the background to it and trying to find himself a copy of it, which he eventually manages to do on VHS. But it's a long and twisting tale, and it really focuses on the main character's obsession with the film, but then also the film's impact on his life and on society more broadly. So I won't say any more than that for fear of spoiling it, but it works really, really well as a kind of study of obsession. It's not a long book, so as you can see, it's it's just over 200 pages, but it gripped me completely from beginning to end. And what it does very well is kind of get under your skin and give you that unnerving feeling of something you don't really understand happening. So you're very much in the same boat as the protagonist as he tries to learn more about the film. And there's some wonderful kind of teasing out of information about the film. For instance, there's one bit where he finds, years after first seeing the film, an article about the filmmaker in a film magazine, but the article's incomplete, and he's then desperately trying to find the next issue of the film magazine to find out more. So it's got that kind of gradual teasing out of the mystery throughout it, which just really adds to the impact. The other thing I thought was really interesting and plays into the fact that Tim Lucas is a film critic is it also feels very much like a book about our relationship with art and with film. So, you know, the protagonist in the book becomes obsessed with Throat Sprockets, the film, and it completely takes over his life. And that, you know, I guess it was true in the 90s that people became obsessed with films, but it feels like something that's even more true today. So when you think about kind of men's rights activists trolling actresses on social media who've ended up, you know, being in franchises that they really like, where the MRAs don't approve of the fact that women are playing an active role in the franchise now. I think it kind of plays into that kind of thinking. So the concept that people who when they really like or love a film sometimes feel like they have ownership of it, and can therefore object to, you know, changes that are made to the franchise or the film or what have you. So I thought that was almost quite prescient, really, in terms of the way dialogue around film and culture has changed in the last few years. So yeah, that was a bit of an aside. Back to the horror. So this is this is a really creepy book. I finished it, I guess, about a week ago, and I'm still thinking about it now. It's effective, it's subtle, it's chilling, and it really gets into what it's like to be obsessed with something. And as someone who's, you know, had my share of obsessions over the years, that definitely spoke to me. Although I would say that none of my obsessions have gone quite as far as that of the protagonist of the book. So anyway, it's out of print. You can still pick up copies on eBay, although I think depending on where you are in the world, the prices may vary quite a lot. But I really do recommend checking it out. If you're into surreal, dreamlike, atmospheric horror, and also interested in film, particularly if you're interested in film, I think this is a must read. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you're not already a subscriber, then hit that subscribe button and you can see more of the kind of weird and wonderful stuff I post in the future. In the unlikely event that you're somebody who's actually read Throat Sprockets, please do leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think of it. If you haven't read it, I really do urge you to pick up a copy. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll leave that for now and speak to you in a future video. Cheerio.